We are here with Maya Annik Bedward, and she has a new documentary that's going to be premiering at South by Southwest called Black Zombie. And we're going to just jump right into this. Maya, how are you?
I'm good. Yourself, Norman?
I'm well. So, being a horror fan, um, immediately the idea of, the documentary just grabbed me. But for you, what inspired you to create this documentary and explore this subject? Can you give us a bit about the film?
Yeah, definitely. So my background, I'm Afro-Caribbean. My father was born in Jamaica, and I've always been interested in learning about our culture and our history, and the connections we have to West Africa, before colonialism, before the transatlantic slave trade. And I've often been told, there's no accounts of this. This history's been erased. But the older I got, the more I realized that that's not true. There's actually traces of this in our music, in our food, and most powerfully in our spiritual traditions. So I was really interested in Vodou and Candomblé and Santeria and learning more about these practices because they hold so much of this horror, so much of this history and these stories. And so when I found out the zombie is connected to Haitian voodoo, that blew my mind. I couldn't believe I didn't know this and that this isn't widely known. And I learned it's a metaphor for slavery and the meanings behind that, I also thought that was just so fascinating. And I decided I had to make a movie about it. And I've been working on this film ever since.
Ah, spectacular. When did you start and how long did it take from, I guess really putting, pedals to the metal, tires to the ground to getting to your premiere? How long?
Um, I'd say just about 10 years.
Wow. That
Yeah.
is definitely That's definitely passion and interest in your subject. So was there a moment, say, when in the production where your understanding fundamentally shifted, and you gained sort of a new perception of what you were covering?
I think it was that, like, that initial revelation and learning about voodoo as a practice and how the zombie was connected and voodoo adjacent and all these elements. So it was like that initial learning. But as I kept researching and I kept working on the film, I was just so shocked at how all these other important pieces in history, whether it's, the US occupation of Haiti, or it's civil rights, or it's looking at just the evolution of horror and, gore and horror, how this is all connected to the zombie. And like, really, the zombie is the reason we understand or misunderstand voodoo today. A lot of the racist tropes of voodoo come from these early zombie films. And
Mhm.
that's why, we think of voodoo economics, the voodoo doll, like all these things. So, just learning all this, like, is like, as I kept researching, it was like moment after moment of like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, like how rich is this story? How horrific it is as well, but also how important it is to tell.
Could you be able to explain kind of where the zombie figure started and how it evolved? Can you get
Mhm.
into that a bit?
Yeah, there's a lot of elements like of the zombie story that are rooted in Haitian culture and traditions and voodoo. But I think the story that really hit me the most was one that I read, where a central tenet of voodoo is that when you die, um, it's this opportunity to return to your ancestors, return to this like mythical ancestral realm. It's like death is not the end. It's like it's the beginning of this connection, that this reconnection that's happening with where you come from and your people and your history. And even in Vodou, like they call it, um, they call it Guinea, which is like similar to like regions in Africa where a lot of slaves, the enslaved people came from, you know. And I just thought that this story of connection that suddenly, if someone turns you into a zombie, you lose that connection. You're not able to return in the afterlife, but you're stuck working in the sugarcane fields, uh, in in the colony, and this is your fate for eternity. Like you're not just enslaved now, but you're enslaved forever, for eternity. Your spirit's enslaved. Was so powerful. And this part of the story really moved me because I thought it was such a powerful metaphor for this like enduring kind of oppression of Black people and Black culture that this continues to this day. And, you know, this idea of how can we reconnect and how reconnection is this form of healing and empowerment that can happen. And I thought, yeah, looking at it through the zombie narrative would be really interesting.
Taking back the power of the what the zombie represents and
Hmm.
using that. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
what does it mean for you to finally have Black Zombie, this film, premiering at South by?
It's, you know, I'm so happy. It's like an incredible opportunity. It's always what I wanted for the film because South by Southwest is a film as a festival that's all about, you know, celebrating pop culture and it puts pop culture to the fore. But it also gives room for really important storytelling that has social relevance and political relevance. So I thought, what a great platform to really get this story out there because my goal is for as many people to see this film as possible so that they know the origin of the zombie, so that it becomes like commonplace that, oh, of course, the zombie comes from Haiti and it's a metaphor for slavery and it's been appropriated and turned into what we know today. Like that's not unknown. That's like common news, common knowledge, so that you know, a lot of the harm and racist tropes that have happened because of this appropriation end, and we no longer see these kind of misrepresentations, these harmful representations of Vodou.
Do you I mean, do you like zombies as a character? Do you like them as a horror trope? I mean, where are your feelings on that?
I mean, when I first started the film, I didn't know much about like I knew The Walking Dead, but I wasn't a big zombie person. But
Sure.
of course, as I started working on the film and researching, I had to watch every single zombie film possible. And I started to gain like a lot of respect for the genre of horror and fall in love with a lot of horror films. And I think it's an incredible genre to tell some really meaningful stories. So it really opened up my eyes to like the potentials of horror and some of the great films that are out there. One of my favorite zombie films is actually a film called Atlantics by Maddie Diop. I think that's a beautiful zombie film. If you haven't seen it, I encourage you to
Ooh,
watch it. It's
excellent.
about um,
Thank you.
using the zombie, like looking at it through a lot of the issues that are happening with migrants. Um, yeah, no, so there are great zombie. I would even say like Jordan Peele's Get Out. I would say that's a zombie film. Like I think he is actually bringing the zombie back to its original roots as this idea of this person who loses all agency and then becomes this like figure that is manipulated by another like oppressive power. That was what the early zombie films were in Hollywood. That
Yeah.
is what where the zombie came from, and that is what Peele's film is. So
Well,
I
that's
would even consider that a zombie film, and I think it's a great film. It's very powerful. It's very effective in delivering an important message.
that's an amazing point. Like it isn't. So, what defines zombie? Is it the loss of agency? Is it flesh eating? What I mean, like, is there one definition now of zombie?
Well, I think like if you were going to look at all the zombies over the past like 100 years, the like common thing is this loss of agency. Because even if you're a flesh-eating zombie, like you get some type of contagion or whatever, you're bitten by a zombie, and then you become a zombie, but you lose yourself, you lose your ability to be, you know, a human making rational decisions. You're kind of taken. So I think this loss of agency is like common throughout all the zombie films.
Mhm.
Obviously now, like because of Night of the Living Dead, attaching like the ghoul, this other figure, to the zombie and creating that flesh-eating component of it. We connect the flesh eating thing, but I think it's a loss of agency. It's also like what happens to you when you die. Like in the Haitian voodoo stories, in the early zombie films, it's like you die and you're brought back to life as a zombie. So that's also like a key part of the zombie story. And I think, why they called the zombies in Night of the Living Dead zombies. Like it wasn't even Romero, like a lot of people know, who called them zombies. It was I think it was the French press who called them zombies because they saw it. They're like, oh, these are figures that died and then they come back to life.
Hmm.
And that's a zombie. And so that's how that word got connected to those ghouls.
Hmm.
So yeah.
I think they use the word like once or twice in Night of the Living Dead, but like that's like the very first time they called something like that a zombie. Um,
Yeah, like in the second, I think Dawn of the Dead. But before that, I don't think Night of the Living Dead they ever used the word
I'll have to
zombie.
double check that one, but like it was they called them ghouls and zombies and stuff like that. But we're getting in the weeds there. But but yeah, like yeah, that was actually where they started to merge the thing. But it was actually Carnival of Souls. Did you see that film? Yeah,
I've
where
seen parts of it.
oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's just this weird nightmarish little thing. You got to see it. But that's where the look came from.
Mm.
For Romero's Night of the Living Dead was the dark eyes, the white face, things like that. So yeah, that was just a little precursor. Um, so going through all this research and everything like that, I mean, do you have a favorite zombie? Do you have a favorite type of zombie, modern type of zombie? That's, I mean, and can you even detach it from its origins?
I think it's important to not detach it from its origins because, then I think it's like I have no problem with people like looking at the contemporary zombie, the flesh-eating zombie, and wanting to do work around that. But I think it's important to know where the zombie from comes from, so you're not perpetuating a lot of the harm that's done because of a lot of these zombie films, a lot of the films that have shown these racist visions of voodoo, a lot of films that show like, harm to black bodies, a lot of like I think it's really important to be critical of the repercussions of some of these films and like why not create films that actually explore these issues and like, like Get Out, like create films that are about Black empowerment, that are about like this messaging. And so, yeah, I'd say like favorite zombie. I mean, I don't want to be a zombie. No one like, I think the zombie is like, as they say, a fate worse than death. So I don't think I could have a favorite zombie, but a favorite zombie film, definitely Atlantics and Get Out. Those are films that I love. And yeah, I encourage people to see.
I love that. I love the reframing and the understanding that you're bringing to the subject. It's absolutely it's right on. So, thank you for doing this, Doc. Very good stuff. Everybody, Black Zombie is going to be premiering Friday, March 13th, very apropos. It's South by Southwest this Friday. And Maya, thank you so much for taking the time and for exploring this subject. And best of luck on this release.
Thanks, Storm.